Zlurpcast!
Zlurpcast TV is on the air. This isn't really the air, it's the internet. That's where everybody watches everything now. We have Valdric in the flan. We have Xtreme in the gray. We have Biran in the jers. I am Jonny P in the surge. And we're talking about a Mantic game, a new game. Is this Man O War? Did I get am I getting it right? Man O War?
Yeah.
It's Mantic War combined, which when you combine it is Armada.
Okay. As a fan of the band Man O War and what they wear, love it. More power metal, please. This game is Mantic Armada, and I'm having a go, as they say, with these fellas. I don't know a lot about it. Dare I say, I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to boats. But I do know a couple people in this room, this chat room, that have played, that have built. I don't know if they have sailed the seven seas or not, if they've left the house yet. I think they have. So Valdric, why don't you kick things off and tell me about what's going on in this boating, this naval game from Mantic that takes place in the Kings of War universe.
But not Mantica, because that's gone, right?
Mantica is an area of Panathor.
Okay.
But we don't call it Mantica anymore because it's dumb.
They just went over with that
dumb.
name. So basically we say this is taking place in Panathor, right?
Right, yeah. So what they did is Warlord Games has this ship game called Black Sails. Yeah, Black Sails. And it's a historical game. So it talks about, French ships and British ships and American ships. And it's got a fairly complex rule system. And what Mantic did is struck up a deal with them. They basically streamlined the rules, so it made them a little simpler, and basically ported those rules into a ship game for the Mantic universe. And so the initial set has Basileans and orcs in it, and then they've got dwarves. And just today, they talked about how at the end of the week, pre-orders for the Kingdom of Dust, which is the Tomb King, essentially. And
best lanes think Bretonians for 40K or fantasy.
Isn't that the Brotherhood?
That's Brotherhood, yeah.
Okay, so who are the best lanes?
Basileans are essentially they're Byzantine people. So they're the ones, they're the religious fanatics that the Elohi have come in. Basically, they still worship them. So they're the religious fanatics. They're like the ecclesiastic.
The Westboro Baptist Church on boats.
But there was a Warhammer, or was it Mordheim, Mike, that had a very church-oriented...
Well, yeah, those were the Sisters of Sigmar,
Yeah, so probably closest to that.
Yeah, because they actually do have female units with flails and whatnot. So
this is interesting. I already didn't know that they took the rules and poured it over. So due to this fact, is it safe to say this is not a typical Mantic Kickstarter? This is, let's just get right to it.
No Kickstarter on this one. Nope.
Right? Yep. Right. Yeah, just rules came out. They had Mantic, as far as I know, does the resin in-house. So all the ships are resin. They're very nice, very nicely done. And they came out with some templates and whatnot. But again, they tweaked the rules. And there was some play testing. I read a couple of blogs, and so I read a little bit behind the scenes about the play testing. So they basically simplified them. The wind rules are a little easier, and because again, you don't want a fully grognarded set of rules for wind and all of that. You kind of want it just to...
Probably don't want that. I agree. It's kind of like, if you are wherever your game is being played, if it's in the air, if it's on land, if it's on water, at some point you need to address that because settings are part of games. So in typical battle games, usually there's difficult terrain or dangerous terrain or something, or you fall in some ooze or whatever. This has water and wind, so you need to account for that. There are rules in the game for that. Are you rolling on things like tables?
Yeah, they have what are called the simple rules and the advanced rules for wind. The basic rules are whatever direction the wind is going, you draw a line down the map, and whatever ship that line crosses first gets to go first. So it determines
like
your initiative.
They use wind for initiative, and I thought that's genius.
Yeah, it's a really cool little system. And then the advanced rules have your maximum speeds are dependent upon which way you're facing the wind. So obviously trying to travel like perpendicular to the wind, you can only go at what's called battle speed. If you're trying to go directly into the headwind, you got to tack a little bit. You got to zigzag back and forth. If you're going got a tailwind, you can go at maximum speed. But then they still use the initiative for that as well. But
and speed is very important in the game, not just for how far you can move in a turn, but each speed level lets you do an additional action.
Right.
So you could, if you're going at what standard speed is 2, right? Where you go 2, you go your movement twice. So you move once, you can fire, and then you move again, and you could fire as long as it's not out of the same, facing. So you fired those cannons, so those got to be reloaded. But if someone's on the other side, your starboard side, you can fire those cannons.
Yeah.
You find yourself learning all the terms now?
No.
Oh, I knew port and starboard. I knew that.
Yeah, I knew those, but they're not. I never thought of that, but they're not really. Are they really? They're just called broadsides.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I like how they handle, because the first game I got into was Battlefleet Gothic from GW, the space boats, as I call it. And this plays very, very similar. It's because you don't worry about wind as much, obviously, in space, unless you're a weird Eldar. But I like how they do the broadsides, where it doesn't have a firing arc on the broadsides. It's just a straight ass line.
Yeah.
So it's harder to get that sweet broadside shot. You have to be in position for it. Whereas most games will have have an arc on the side for a broadside. This one is just a straight line. The front and back have a, what is it, a 45 or 30 degree angle?
30 degree, yeah.
30 degree angle where you can shoot anything in that line of sight. But the broadsides are just a straight line.
So there is a no man's land where you can't.
You can actually, if you're clever, stay where you can't be shot. But that's for people that are smarter than me.
That sounds kind of cheesy.
It's hard to do, I can tell you that.
Yeah, because you get to move and then you get to turn and then you shoot. So if you're turning to hit someone with your broadsides, someone else may incidentally end up in the blind spot. But
is this a game where somebody is going to measure a lot to try to get the exact spot to put things in?
Not us, but yes.
Well, you can't, because your speed, you have to move the full distance. So it's not like, I'm going to move 3 inches instead of 3.5.
You have to go the full.
Yeah, because you can't slow down in the water that much easily. So, if you're at battle speed, it's called 2 move steps, and your speed is 4. So you have to move 4 inches and then turn, and then move another full 4 inches and then turn again. So you're
moving your maximum movement for your speed level, no matter what.
Yeah. So
is this a game where I know a lot of times we talk about if it were played, say, on a grid, like a hex mat, would this be something that, or is this really more on the battle measuring? Like that's really where this game needs to be played.
I don't see this working well on a hex mat.
No.
But it's like I said, it's got the measuring widgets, and you got a pivot template, and that's it.
You were saying inches, but there's widgets?
Yeah, it comes with your widgets.
Well, I thought you were saying inches. It's still inches, but I mean, usually it's one or the other, right? Usually it's like a unique.
Is that inches? I think that's inches. Yeah.
Yeah, it's inches. But show them the turning widget.
So it's just a ruler. Widget.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So there's the red can turn. Is it red the sharper angle?
Yeah. Well, it's got a 45 degree. That's a 45 degree angle, and the yellow's a 30 degree angle.
So if you have a red maneuverability, you would put your boat here, and he could pivot this far,
or
this far. And pivot, you don't have to pivot the fold. You just have to pivot within it.
So you pivot, then move, then shoot, then move again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, you move and then pivot and
Move,
then shoot.
pivot, shoot. Move,
Yeah.
pivot, shoot.
So you have to be in the right position. Well, okay.
You do have to plan ahead if you want to get the maximum firepower and be like, all right, I'm going to go here, shoot out the right, and then go here and pivot and shoot out the left.
Are you keeping several boats near each other to kind of maximize killing one thing?
Maybe someone who's good at the game would.
Yeah.
But there's bonuses, like some ships support the other ships and cause bonuses to happen. Like I think the Tomb Kings are going to be big for that.
Yeah, and the humans do that as well. Kingdoms of Men.
So
but you don't want to keep them too close because you don't want to run into your own ships because
collisions are chaos and lots of damage.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine the few times I played X-Wing, I did not enjoy the fact
flying
that
a TIE fighter swarm.
Yeah, right. I used 8 of them and crashed a couple into each other. No big deal.
Yeah.
What I like is the collision mechanic. Think what was the card game we played? Destruction Derby game.
Oh, Devil's Run.
Yeah.
Devil's Run, yeah.
Think of all the damage on a head-on collision. It's kind of like that with the boats. If you get a collision.
Okay, cool. Do you have to say head on and like? Do
I do, yes. but it's one of those where you're both going to take a lot of damage, probably.
Oh yeah, yeah. The orcs theme is their boats don't shoot as well, but they have rams on the front of them, and they actually purposely try to collide with other ships, and then you do boarding actions, they fight a little better too.
Yep.
But the damage from the collisions can be kind of swingy, so because you roll like a d10 or a 2d10, and sometimes the ship that's ramming,
just gets exploded.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I can see it, like,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If is that when you're probably looking at it happens a lot in war games where is the thing I'm gonna let die worth way less than the thing I'm trying to kill? So I can see where maybe some of that, like, you know what? Yeah, we're doing it because this is like a pawn for me. Does that happen? Where you're
if you have a ship that has hardly any life left in it, and you're like, I'm gonna just balls out and hit this guy.
Yeah.
Now, it's not always super easy to do that because they get to evade.
Yeah, they get to try to evade. So
you have shooting, you have ramming, and then you can board another ship if you get close enough.
Yes. It's called a grapple action. And like I said, the orcs, they have kind of special rules for that. They make it harder for other ships to evade, and even if the other ship evades them, they can still do a boarding action if they're within range, and it's hard for them not to be. So they can still do that boarding action. It's not automatic, but they got a good chance of making that work. And again, like any game, if you're an orc player, you got to have that mindset of you may ram into it and they may kill you, like it happened in the game that Biran and I played. And it's what you do. So
we're here to fight. If that means, we get a little beat up too.
And that's where initiative came into play so much, because you get to the point where you're crippled and you might have to make a do I surrender roll.
Yeah.
So if you're first in initiative, you're making that roll first. So
do any armies have no surrender? Because I'm playing them.
Not yet.
No, not yet. I don't know. I that's actually something that I don't know if the Empire Dust might have something like, or I don't know, but I was surprised the orcs were just like, yeah, we're done. We're giving up.
Yeah, I mean, do they just try to like fit in the new boat? Like
they put on a guy's hat and like, what?
Yeah, like first mate here. Like, is he ready to go? So how many models do you have out there?
We played a small game. I had 4. You had 5, or
no? We both had 4.
Okay, yeah. I just had a couple of small boats.
And one's like the mothership of sorts. And you have
you have to have a certain amount of big ships per support ship, right?
Yeah. So how it works is the ships have points, and for every 50 points in your fleet, you have to have one ship for every 50 points. So if you play a 200-point game, you have to have 4 ships. So that keeps you from having just one giant
little ships.
Yeah. Then there's for every what's called a main battleship, you can have up to 2 support ships. So you get the big ones and the little ones. It's pretty simple, but it keeps you from really min-maxing too much.
It sounds like they've given, I mean, you have a little bit of wiggle room, but for the most part, it's forcing you to have balance. I mean, because in a way, Kings of War sort of did that. It got better as time went on, but I mean, a lot of people don't like that, but it's actually great in general because if you just take that out of the equation, we can then focus on what you want to play and playing the game, as opposed to trying to tweak and, like you said, min-max every little thing.
Yeah. And there's different sizes of ships. There's what are called tiny ships, which are like your super support ships. Then there's basically small, medium, large, and extra large ships. So right now, the armies or the fleets, none of them have the extra large ship yet, except for what they did. They struck up a deal with Warlord Games to make a fleet for what are called Kingdom of Men, so humans, and they're never going to produce ships for them, but you can use the Warlord Black Sail ships. And right now, they're the only ones with an extra large ship
because they've been around already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're just going to use those, and they make lots of big ships. Now they're supposed to come out. The extra large ships are supposed to come out in March or maybe March or April, something like that. So,
are the Warlord models better than the new Mantic ones?
I don't know if they are. They're fussier, I think.
They're a lot fussier. Here, I'll show you. Hold on a second.
Okay. Are they all resin? Them too?
I think they're a mix of metal and resin.
Chunkier.
I'm having flashbacks to metal on Battlefleet Gothic. I'm like,
on a little base. Yep.
Yeah, it's like this chaos ship. It was like 12 pounds.
The Imp-Guard battleship was crazy. Yeah.
So like this here is an orc ship.
That's cool.
And yeah, they look really cool. Now this here is a Black Sail ship.
Oh, the orc one's way better.
Oh yeah,
that's more historical, right?
Yeah. These are real ships. I've already lost some rat lining here, so that's nice.
Oh yeah, you have there's rigging
made out of cardboard, and they just don't look as good. They're spindlier.
Did you make those sails?
I painted them. Yeah.
No, but I mean, it got a rooster on it?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, these can be halflings, so they're all gonna have chickens and roosters.
Oh. Awesome. Do you call that one's called the cock? I'm imagining.
But yeah, but I mean, the ships, the sails look kind of flat. They look like paper.
Yeah.
And whereas these are, far more, they just look.
They've got some definition in them. It looks like they're in the wind.
And the Basilean ships, I don't have any of those painted, but those look.
And it was the sails why I chose dwarf.
And then the dwarf ones are
they look like Civil War era ironclads for the most part.
Yeah.
Oh, and Biran's using those so he doesn't have to paint sails.
Yes,
exactly.
Got it.
Well, I didn't want to get the starter, so I was pretty open to getting anything at that point.
And the dwarf ships, and again, they're steam ships, so they can ignore some of the wind shenanigans.
Do they shoot better? I'm guessing.
They're good shooting, but they're also very expensive.
Yeah, they're very expensive. There's actually no armor mechanic in this game either. So
no, it's very dice efficient, as Brian.
So you've got movements. What are your different stats?
Let's see, points, movement. So you got movement for this one is a small ship. It's got a movement of 5.
Okay.
Nerve, is that?
Yeah,
nerve. So that's like when you have to worry about surrender, right? Or is that your life? I forget.
No, it's SP's life.
SP's
life.
Like,
nerve like a roll based on how much damage you take.
Well, nerve is like as you take damage, if you pass the nerve check, you become.
Oh, that's the cripple level. So once you take 11 points, you're crippled, and bad things happen.
Yeah, bad things.
And then 2 is your crew strength. So that's for boarding actions. That's how many dice you get.
Yeah, and SP is like your total health. So if you go over the SP, the ship sinks.
Yep.
Okay.
And this indicates the turning arc it uses. There's the red one, so it's pretty good.
Because there's 2, right?
Yeah, red and yellow.
Okay.
So the dwarves only have their biggest ship is a medium ship right now.
Yeah.
So red for the more
nimble.
Type,
yeah, because it's got a bigger turning arc.
Okay.
Which to me is backwards. I would think yellow would be because
they do the same with the dice too. Yeah. Like the dice, the colors they say for what type of cannon you're using.
Xtreme thoughts on color choice. Xtreme.
I don't care.
It's not red and green, so yeah.
He says, "I don't care because I'm not going to play it."
So obviously, you see here is a small ship, and it's got it's got just the one H is high
Heavy.
power,
Heavy.
on each side, whereas a bigger ship will have an array of cannons on each side. So there's the side cannons back.
Are those all just dice for a pool then?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's different colored dice for like, so you can roll them all at once. So if you got like 2 heavies, a light, and a close combat, the heavies, the blue die, the reds, the light cannons, and the black is the close combat. So you can roll them all at once.
D10s.
Symbols then?
No, just D10.
No, it's just straight D10s.
Oh, you made it sound like these are blue and these are red for a
Well,
reason.
that way you know when you roll it, like, okay, my heavies hit, but my lights
okay.
Because they do different damage.
Heavies do 2 damage per hit, lights do 1.
Okay.
And close do 3?
3, yeah.
So getting in close can be deadly.
Yeah.
Xtreme.
But they have different ranges as well, too. So.
What?
Were you going to say something before we cut you off?
Oh, sure, a few times.
I'm not even talking a lot.
You said you didn't want to get the starter box. You want the dwarves. Can you get the templates and widgets and stuff separately?
They come with the rule book. So you buy, if you just get the rule book and a starter, that's all you need, because the rule book has all your tokens and your widgets and everything.
Yeah.
It was well thought out.
Rule books have stats for everybody?
Stats are on the cards.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys been playing with the advanced wind rules or just the basic?
I've only played basic.
Yeah, when I played Ryan, we used the advanced rules. I didn't know we were playing the advanced rules, but yeah, we were playing with it's not much difference. There's just like at the start of every turn, you roll to see if the wind changes, because like if it's coming from the east, it may move to the northeast or the southeast, and that can affect initiative and who goes first and all of that. On the advanced rules, there's some more changes, like you can become totally becalmed, or you can have a big storm come up, and that can affect how that turn goes.
Is it made to play basic, then advanced, and never go back, or is it truly meant to be, hey, we just play this way, basic?
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't make that much of a difference, really.
And you could spice it up with, and this comes also in the template package, the terrain of like shoals and islands that can cause trouble that you have to go around.
Yeah.
One mechanic I like is you can shoot into ships that are grappling or boarding actions, and you just divide the damage up between both ships.
Yeah.
Like if one's bigger, does that get a higher chance?
Yes.
No.
Doesn't. It's harder to hit a smaller ship, but does it matter if they're grappled?
I don't think it does.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I was thinking if you were randomizing, would you not be?
Yeah, shooting, you have to make a roll because your crew may not want to do it. But once you do that, you can still damage. You're still going to damage both ships, but
okay.
Yeah.
Anything else Xtreme?
Oh, there is one fussy rule that we found where if you're boarded by 2 ships. Remember this, Mike?
Yeah.
You had me in an orc sandwich.
Oh,
I was the meat in an orc sandwich.
The finger cuffs rule, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the ship in the middle has the choice to either put all of its attack dice on one ship or split them between the ones on either side. If you choose to split them between the 2 on either side, both ships get to fight back. If you choose to put them all on one ship, only the one ship that you're attacking will fight back. But
you have to worry about the other one next turn, I'm guessing.
What?
Yeah, and then you would dedicate all your stuff to that ship.
Right, then next turn you got to, hopefully you kill that one and then go on the other side.
The only way I thought you'd want to do it is if you thought you could take both ships out in one turn.
Yeah.
Which I don't see happening.
If you have a large ship.
You did miss a rule though. That when you have multiple attackers, the combined ship, whichever ship has a higher combined total crew strength gets +1 to hit. So
I would think a large ship with a support ship on either side attacking them would want to split because they could probably destroy them both.
Yeah, it's possible.
But you're also going to get a chance on your turn to attack whatever ship you want.
Yeah. It's a little gamey, but
Okay. So when looking at this game, once again, Mantic Armada. Or was it Kings of War Armada?
It's just called Armada.
Mantic Armada is Armada.
Well, Mantic's in the upper left-hand corner, and that's
Yeah.
his Armada.
If the first and last letter were cut off, what is it?
It would be Ramad.
Ramad. Yeah.
Ramad.
Or Armad. Armad?
Armad, the battle game of Tarsag.
Yeah.
So I'm asking, a lot of Mantic games, the fans of one Mantic game really get into all Mantic games. It doesn't happen with a lot of other game companies, but it's a big thing with them. Who is this game for? Is it for Mantic fanboys? Is it for Kings of War players? Or is it just a cool game on its own?
This game really took off, surprisingly, I think. I think everyone was shocked by how much it took off. And I don't know if it's just because everyone's in quarantine and it's just kind of it's painting the ships is not that hard. So people are, painting it a lot. It doesn't have, for the dwarves, you can get by with 7 ships and you've got enough for, most sides of the game. So it's like I said, they sold out. They sold out their first run and then they had to, hurry up and make more. So
what are the races that are out so far?
So far, officially, it's the Basileans and the Orcs and the Dwarves, and you can buy the Kingdoms of Men card from Warlord. Yeah.
So 4 of them out right now.
Theoretically 4, yeah.
Okay.
And then the Tomb Kings are coming out very soon.
Yeah, they're going to pre-order next week. So
going back to the last question, are regular people finding this game on the shelf, or is this targeted toward Kings of War players?
We're kind of in a unique situation because our friend Todd of Grognard Games in Rosette, Illinois.
Oh, I met him last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pachow. He promoted it and was interested in it. So and he's got a pretty good Kings of War fan base there. So that it took off from that perspective.
And it's based on the Black Sails rules. So people that play that, it's a
want something a little fantasy flavor.
Yeah. Because like Ryan and drawing a blank. Jameson had, we're really into that game, so yep. they were going to make the jump. So, but I think, if you're a Mantic person, it's a logical thing to get into,
and for cost of entry is pretty low.
Yeah, that starter set's a really good deal. You get 8 ships and the rules and templates and all that, and a map for $89.
Either 80 or 100, I can't remember, but it's also a starter set that's enough for 2 people.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good deal. I'm assuming a paper mat in there.
Yeah,
it's a paper mat. They do have a neoprene mat, which I love. So
is it just water?
Yeah. That's why they include the templates in the to make your own little islands and stuff.
Right. So you're playing on water, you can then put some islands in there.
Yeah. So I actually took my Dreadfleet stuff that had never been touched. And
Dreadfleet, totally forgot about that game.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
The Dwarf Ship, you can use that as a proxy. And
I'll never forget, it was a Chaos Cup. We were at the bunker. I don't know if it was the first one I ran or maybe before that. The games are going on. The staff has no clue what the fuck we're even playing because it's like, I don't know Blood Bowl. Attention, everybody! We all turn around. There's probably 50 people playing Blood Bowl. We're going to sail on Dreadfleet, blah, blah. We're all just immediately turn around the other way. It was no sail.
Yeah.
No one gave a shit about any of that. And I just remember that was a lot of hype and not a lot of deliver.
I think they overproduced it because I remember at so many auctions you would see 2 or 3 Dreadfleets for sale.
Yeah.
And it'd never go for more than $40.
There's people who probably played that are checking this game out. Is that the same scale?
Close. Pretty close.
Is this 6mm, right?
It's 1/600th, whatever.
I don't know that.
Yeah. It's a popular scale for ships.
Okay. I only know the GW, the Epic, and
I've seen people use 6mm figures, put them on the decks.
Oh God.
And it looks pretty decent.
Well, because
they're warning on the Dwarf Ships, Resin. I've already snapped off a bunch of the cannons.
Right. Well, to paint a 6mm figure, it's like a spray and a dot.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. I can't see it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that Mantic fans are already probably aware of this and into it. and you might get over some Warlord players or some people just looking for this. So I like that they've really branched out. You know, we've had many episodes talking about Mantic Games, and they make a lot of great games, and they find their like parallel universe niche or niche for Biran with Games Workshop. They have a parallel kind of thing. If you like this, you also like this, and they do that for all of them. This one, they kind of said, hey, this is our own thing. They're not trying to duplicate a Games Workshop thing. I mean, yes, there have been attempts in the past. I joked about Man O War, but it's kind of veering off on their own thing, and I really like this direction that the company's going.
I also like the critical chart. When you critical, it doesn't just do more damage. You roll to see if anything crazy happens.
Yeah.
And that's always fun.
Yeah. Like your ship can go on fire. Fire is a real big thing. And you can like lose the movement ability because your sails, your mast is broken, things like that.
So anything going on in the water? Any monsters?
There's a scenario that has like it's scenario 2. It's Attack the Kraken or something like that. So, and they just today produced solo play rules. And one of the scenarios in there is you got 3 monsters and your ship is trying to kill the monsters and the monsters have an AI, and it's pretty well thought out. I just skimmed it, but it seems doable. And again, they know people aren't playing this, but they want to. So getting those solo play things, you know, it's a little avenue. So
I'll take it a step further. I got dibs on monsters. I'm playing them as a person. Like that. Dibs on Xtreme. Were you gonna ask the same question?
Yes.
I
Sorry.
was going to ask the same question. I was going to ask about monsters and whirlpools.
There's a scenario 3 or 4 called the Vortex, and it's the same deal. You have to get close to the vortex to score more victory points, but also at the end you get sucked into it, so you don't want to get too close because if you touch it, you're sucked in and you die. So the scenarios, we've only played a couple of them, and the first one's obviously kill.
Well, they're all kill for the first 4 turns.
They're well thought out, and
every game is kill for at least 4 turns, sometimes the whole game. Yeah. There's objectives. That's cute. I'm just gonna fucking kill everyone. So any upgrades to the ships, like a better captain or anything?
Yes. Yeah. So you have the base points of the ships, and then you can buy. It depends on the size of the ship, how many upgrades you can get. And like for the orcs, there's an upgrade called, and again, all these upgrades have Kings of War flavor things. So there's Morax, which make your raiders better when they're doing boarding actions. You can have each faction has race specific or faction specific captains that gives certain abilities. There you could have spellcasters on your ships, which usually is just once per game they can cast a fireball, kind of stuff.
Like controlling of the ship with some magic.
Well, there's things like you can make your ship harder to see for 1 turn, so you can't be, if you're at longer range, you can't be seen.
And there's race specific, like I have Dwarven Ale, which makes it so I can't take crushing blows because you're drunk, you don't feel the pain.
Which is basically criticals.
Yeah,
extra damage.
Ironwatch Marines make my dwarves as good as orcs, basically, but I got to pay for it. It's not automatic. Master Engineer, very flavorful, better at repairing.
Yeah. And there's things like the crew has, a lot of times the crew has to pass a D6 roll to do certain things, and the standard crew is a 5+, but you can pay an upgrade to your ship to make them a 4+, which is a pretty big.
Kind of like the, when you're playing battle games, maybe like a standard bearer or musician or something.
Yeah, veteran crew, basically, yeah, so. So there's a whole bunch of upgrades, which are nice.
Anyone thinking about having a battle, and then once that finishes, so to speak, then take it to Kings of War, and so whoever
always do that.
Whoever just died in that game, maybe they have less troops once you
multiple game scenarios always sound great on paper. Like, we're gonna start with Battlefield Gothic, and then it's gonna go to Epic, and then we're gonna go there, and then we're gonna go to Kill Team. Like, no, you're not. You're not gonna do any of that.
No, then you're gonna go to one character and role play it.
Yeah.
Last person awake wins. I like that. It works. So I'd imagine there's more things planned. Does this seem like a steady stream of releases from Mantic?
So far, yes. Now, it was always kind of planned, these first 4 factions that Mantic's producing, the Orcs, the Basileans, the Kingdom of Dust, and the Dwarves were the first 4. And they had their I shouldn't say stats, there's descriptions and pictures of the ships in the rule book. Beyond that, I don't know. I don't know if they kind of planned, we're going to release this and see what happens.
Yeah.
And it's taken off, so I'm guessing there's going to be more.
I could see some
Gotta have
abyssal ships, and
yeah,
the Skaven would rule.
yeah, the Ratkin, because they're going to
There could be a lot of cool stuff.
A lot of fluff in the book too.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think they're gonna? I mean, I know it's a naval game, but they have how many races in Kings of War? Like 20, right?
close, yeah.
Do you think at some point they've got to bring in, I don't know, like planes, flying, like something to add to the mix? Otherwise, do you think there's enough there to really have different rules for 20 different races?
I could see it.
Yeah. Okay.
I could see the Ratkin having submarines coming from below.
Yeah.
That would rule.
Yeah. You got to put them under the table, obviously.
Yeah.
You can't play them on the.
Well, no, you would put it would be like whatchamacallit, where you have the blips along the map. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a submarine there.
Yeah, that'd be a good way of doing it. There you go, Biran. You're on the rules committee.
That's right.
Yeah.
Send me up for the Slack that I'll ignore.
There's a lot of work, no pay, long hours, a lot of slack, 3 a.m. slack. So enjoy.
Other fantasy ship games like Dystopian Wars have had rules for submarines and whatnot. So, which Dystopian Wars just had a big release too from War Cradle. So they bought that game and then retooled it for the Wild West Exodus universe and then sent it out. Or
is this game making anyone here want to buy a boat?
No.
You never want to own a boat. You want a friend that owns a boat.
Yes.
Isn't that you? That's you.
No, I own an RV, not a boat.
Yeah, but that's that direction already. You'll get one. I think at 50 you'll get a boat. A pontoon.
Oh yeah. Well, duh. No, I would get. They have pontoons that have regular boat bottoms, so it has the benefit of a pontoon, but can also be fast.
Oh, because usually it's just like those two kind of.
Yeah, and they're slow no matter how big a motor you put on them. Yeah. They're called deck boats, I think.
I think it sounds like an interesting game. I'm glad to see you guys giving it a go. I think, Mike, you're right when it comes to this last year and what are people looking for. As you heard in our previous episode from Todd of Grognard Games, this was his best year of sales. And you'd think like that doesn't seem to make sense on paper, but it does. People looking for things to do. This is a brand new game. And I think that, well, essentially a new game. I know it's for some, it might not be all brand new, but that doesn't happen all the time. We don't have a lot of new games. We have new rules and new things for games and new models, but I mean, what has come out of like the kind of games that we play in the last year? Can you think of anything off the top of your head of like a new game?
Yeah, anything out of GW has just been tweaks and updates.
Warcry's been longer than that. It's been, that's the last new one, I think, right? So I think Mantic has a knack for timing. They've got this very strange way of just coming in at the right time with the right product, and that's awesome. The question has always been, can you sustain it? And will stores and gaming clubs adopt it? And right now it's happening there. Is that something you guys think that, say 3 months from now, and you're at Grognard Games and there's people playing, it's packed, maybe there's, no mask, no, I don't know, maybe 6 months, whatever. Is this happening there, or are you going back to whatever other games you were playing before?
I want to play this more for sure.
Yeah. But
they bring out more ships and stuff. They got the iron's hot. They need to keep striking it.
Yeah.
Like if they were to release like 5 new dwarf boats, I'd pre-order it today.
Yeah.
But if they wait a year and a half,
wouldn't you rather have them have more races than
anything new? A new race. I already looked up. I was looking into the Tomb Kings or whatever they're called, the Empire of Dust, and I could tell it's not my kind of fleet. by how they play.
Mike, is that like for a long time, Empire Dust was what you did with Tomb King models. Have they now adopted that to be their own?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's one of their official armies. So
because I know like Herd and Brotherhood, they didn't do anything with those, right?
Right. But Empire Dust they did. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
because the Tomb King's models are expensive and hard to find, so they had no choice.
Yeah.
Well, I think they. I mean, they can build out any of them if they want to.
Right.
But I mean,
and they make great skeletons already. It's one of the
Kings of War fans remember the crossover moment when it was, we're done over here playing Warhammer. We're going to play this. And then Mantic comes out with the Uncharted Empires, I think. And it's, hey, everybody, we got an answer to everything that we didn't already have a month ago. And you had like Skaven and you had all these others. So I just didn't know how much of the adopting to our own world that they were doing, you know?
Well, the ones I was impressed with was it the Nightmare Horrors or whatever, the Horror Army?
Yeah.
They did all their own models for that. And I think a lot of them look great, regardless of how bad they look on the packaging.
Yes. Yeah. The Night Stalkers.
They photographed them with a potato camera for sure. But I would love a battleship with a bunch of undead stuff on it. That would rule.
Yeah. I mean,
well, that would be awesome.
Who wouldn't want to paint the ghostly green and you're done in one night?
Well, you know, they're going to put just a giant pumpkin head on it, on each ship. And I'm down for that.
So now, can I play a fleet where I've got a wizard there that made everyone invisible and I just have bases out there?
You'd have to in Sharpie write what it is though on the base, so we at least know.
Well, maybe I'll put like, don't they sell those like stand up? I mean, you can make it, but like it's like invisible, or I think who made those? Is it Bones? Didn't they make like
a clear base with just footprints in it that said
yeah, right.
Yep.
Well, they actually have. Yeah, Bones does have like invisible hero, but it's just clear plastic. So.
Yeah, I saw both the base and I remember the actual like things. Yeah, it's an easy way out. I think it sounds like a fun game. I think it's could it be a main game, or is this going to be? No, we're going to play Kings of War now that we got a good following. We're going to go back to Kings of War.
Now it's not. There's just not enough factions and different ships out. But I'd rather throw this down because how long did it take us to play, Mike? An hour?
Yeah. Once we got to it, yeah.
Yeah.
And we were playing a small game, but a bigger game.
As the late game comes, stuff starts dying quick. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually surprised because when you look at like how many life or structural points these ships have.
Yep.
They seem like they have a lot, but
once you get into boarding actions and ramming, they go down quick.
Yeah, or just get a couple of good
criticals. Criticals are so huge because you could be rolled a d6 plus 4 extra damage. So
yeah. So
any thoughts to maybe a crossover with battleships, so I don't actually have to interact with
that? Would be the grid based one. Yeah.
Like, oh, you've killed my orc ships.
You sunk my rune axe.
I'm going to Uncle Bill's now. The game's over. Like Biran's favorite moment of every game.
Yeah.
Is the handshake at the end. I don't know if we're still going to do handshakes, by the way, but that was your favorite moment at the end of every game is, good game, man. Let's go do something. Let's go buy some or eat something.
Yeah.
Or hang out by our cars too long after the store closed.
They stand outside by cars. Here's a side note, and anyone watching this knows exactly what we're talking about. How come it takes you not the smartest person in your gaming group, usually like the middle of the road
mid-tier
guy, to say the words, hey, let's put our stuff away in the car and then continue talking? Because there's a lot of holding stuff when we talk. So there's that person, or there's the, hey, I'm freezing, I gotta go. It's usually not the smartest person in your group that says, I'm freezing, I gotta go. And I always thought that was strange. Like if Mike is the smartest person, let's say, usually he's not going to bail and say, I'm too cold. We'll say that, and he'll say, yeah, I'm also cold. Like he's going to power through. And that's not very smart, Mike, is what I'm getting at.
Like if you got 2 pack 432s loaded with like metal models.
Right. It's like, it takes a lower intelligence member of your crew to put it on the ground, and all of us then go, oh yeah, a floor. Like, because we're holding stuff.
Or like when you're standing around the game table and there's chairs and everyone's not sitting down.
Right. Or a game store builds a spot under the table for your bags and models, and you still plop them onto their table, which then scares off somebody, which
Right.
might be what you want to happen, scares off a potential neighbor playing.
Right, you're one of the regulars, and you put all your crap on a table you're not playing on, and some typical awkward socially awkward
I
person.
will
be
tell
like,
you, I love in general game stores that have spots underneath more often than not. And Grognard is an exception. I haven't been there in a few years, but a lot of game stores just put storage under there. So you know they built it with the intention of having a place for your stuff. But then I remember there's a store near me that they had, it looked like it was like monster boxes all flattened for card, like Magic and stuff.
Mhm.
It's flat, like it's their overstock of card boxes. And I'm like, I want to put my bag on there, but anyway.
or you could have a store in Batavia, Illinois, and you have a strict no bags on the tables rule, but under your tables is 5-cent Magic cards filled to the brim.
Time's going to tell on the strategy of that one.
These tables have to last another decade of prosperous game store sales.
Exactly.
You know, that used to be the reason I went to Batavia for that store. Now I don't go there.
No,
I don't live nearby. It would be to drive by Fermilab and maybe see a buffalo wandering the streets.
I got kicked out of Fermilab once.
Oh yeah, what'd you do? Pull your pants down?
No, I was wandering around where the particle accelerator is, and I guess they weren't allowing that day.
Were there signs?
No,
No,
there were signs saying, please vacate if this light is lit.
no, you're fine.
Yeah. I must look like some kind of commie spy or something.
I've never been inside. I would have thought a field trip would have happened at some point.
Oh yeah, it's cool. They have a cool like science center at the top floor.
Mike,
Oh,
do you have a pass to get in?
Anyone can go in.
No, but Mike has got the.
Oh, because he's a scientist?
Yeah. Like he gets
I'm a biologist though. Although, what's his name worked there?
Oh, Alex?
Alex. Yeah,
Al-
thank you.
Alec or Alex?
Alec.
Oh,
You're right,
yeah.
Alec.
Blood Bowl Alec. Yeah. Cool. So back to Armad. It's Armada with the A's.
Mhm.
If I was writing it, I would do it.
It's
like Metallica
Ahmed.
font. Or like I would do like Metallica font with like the cool kind of.
Oh
A's
yeah,
on there.
lightning bolts coming outside.
Yeah, make it badass. So I think it's a new game, newish kind of game. If you've got your fancy tickled by this conversation, check it out. It's a game that's not going to cost you a lot of money. So get the starter set, get your two fleets rather. Get your rule book, get your templates for $100, right? Or less.
It's either 80 or 100, and yeah, so you could go halfsies in it, and you're good to go.
Yeah, get that. I like when new games have a very easy buy-in. You know,
Look what I see.
Oh, there we go.
Dirigibles.
So that's happening.
Yeah.
Now the question is, do you get like a long clear rod for those, or do you hang them from the ceiling of the store? We'll have to see. I would like to hang them. Like Todd's like, what are you doing? We're setting up our game, and you're like in the part
We're standing up on his tables, on his Julio tables.
Yeah, like you don't want to spill asbestos all over the tables. Leave that up there. So anyway, I think if you're a fan of Kings of War, you're gonna dig this game. It might be your side game if you play Kings of War. Maybe a lighter game, but with the same races that you know, and new ones are coming in. If you were a Mantic fan already, a lot of people that watch our videos, thanks for checking out Dreadball, Dead Zone, all those. As we've said many times, we all like the games.
They're all great.
I want to just clarify. There's a lot of people think we shit on. I may not think a model's good, but if a game is good, a game is good. And
this one is unique that there was no Kickstarter bullshit to go with it.
No.
It's a nice trend. I'm not gonna lie. It's nice to see, as people that may have been disenchanted by Mantic Games in the past. This might be a nice way to get back in, because
And I think it sends a good message to Mantic that more of this, please.
Yeah, no Kickstarter. Starting small. We talked about in our Dreadball episode. Well, we got 20 different races now. Let's make up rules. Like, no, you don't have to. Like, make us, little foreplay. Make us wait a little bit. 4 armies might be okay for a year, right? I mean,
Well, it'll be 5. 5 in the first year.
Yeah.
Oh, 5?
You'll be fine with the Kings of Men. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So that's okay. You don't have to rush things. I think it sends a good message to prior Mantic players, also to game stores. Like Todd said, I like this game. Come by, let's all play it. Let's blah, blah, blah. Great. If this was a Kickstarter, I don't think he'd be all over it.
He certainly be
because
less
half the
enthusiastic.
people that want to play it already have it. So
Right. You already have it.
Yeah.
There's no sexiness about it. Whereas now, my point is, becoming game store friendly is only going to be a positive for Mantic. And this game sounds like it's going that way. I believe I saw a picture of Home Depot is carrying this now.
yes, yes.
I
Yes,
saw the orange rafters. It looked like there was a pallet.
it totally
at
did.
Home Depot. You know, and it's like, you know, I could use a new grill or get a new game. So let's get to ratings. Anything else? I mean, we kind of did our pros and cons within. Xtreme, you haven't played, just right?
Nope,
Okay.
I have not played. I watched a YouTube video.
Okay. I haven't even done that, so I can't wait to go last. Anything else people need to know before we get to our Zlurpy ratings for the
You can order this game currently on at grognardgames.com.
Yes.
okay, grognardgames.com. Order it, have it shipped to you. $100 free shipping. Everyone loves free shipping.
Mhm.
So get the starter, buy an extra race for your buddy who's a little different, a little awkward, like Biran is to this group. I'll never play a starter race. Whereas I love starter races. Usually whatever comes in the box, I'm not trying to be a cheap ass. I always love those races. I don't know why.
I don't like sales. I don't want to deal with them.
Sales? Oh, S-A-I-L.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As a Greek, I like S-A-L-Es.
Yes.
And also Telis Savalis, which is part of that as well. So real quick on the sales, Mike, the ones from Warlord were cardboard, but everything else that has them are part of the resin.
Yes. Yeah. The resin sales. So yeah, like this orc ship here, all of this, these are, you know, this is all resin.
So
it's a little, you gotta be careful. It's resin. So like
I was going to say, is there a chance that rod's going to snap off, or how are you transporting those?
I got magnets on the bases.
Okay.
So, but yeah, there's a real good chance this could snap off.
So that's a wooden base, or did it come with that?
Yeah, it came with the MDF.
Yeah.
Nice.
And for my,
So bonus.
yeah, I get that.
Do you smell the good MDF smell and then have to smell resin afterwards?
Well, right now I'm selling that and primer, so it's double.
Yeah.
here.
Wow. You don't know what you're going to have in about 20 years.
Yep.
If they're smelling
I'm
that.
not going to make it that long. Who are we kidding?
Like you blow your nose after priming, like what the fuck?
It's like when I go to the gun range and I got black smoke.
Right, there's
Same thing.
So Mike, overall, you're really digging the resin models though, right?
Yeah. They assemble pretty quickly. They paint up, they paint them quickly. And
Did you have to clean them?
yeah, oh yeah. But
I
that's not a
didn't-
big deal. I mean, there's not that many pieces to them.
Well, we've
So-
talked about this on the side, but for the show, for anyone watching, for me, no matter who makes the resin model, I wash everything.
It's
Oh, yeah.
because of your troll cast trauma.
Yeah, and I don't know. And now it's become OCD though.
Yeah.
Now it's become I see resin and I walk like, you know what I mean? Like it just becomes a thing. I don't.
It is a crapshoot. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you do. You're better off just doing it every time. But
Yeah, every time.
I had no problems. None whatsoever.
And you use like
I
what
use
kind of black-
GW primer.
Okay, that sticks to everything though.
Yeah.
GW like Chaos Black or whatever. That's
Yeah.
just
Stuff's great.
yeah, it is good. So they came with the bases. You put them on there. Mike, you washed yours though to be careful.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Is the resin? I know we've joked in the past about the Mantic's using pretty good resin now, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, would you say
The
it's
detail is really good on it.
Is
Yeah,
it-
the detail on, especially the Basilean ships.
Is it like right now at the level of like the Rumble Slam resin?
No, it's not as sticky.
Soft.
Because
Yeah.
I thought
It's-
that was good.
This is really, the resin's really hard and it comes out in really high detail, but it is, especially with the smaller pieces like the little cannons for the dwarves, you got to be careful because it's brittle because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird, but like I don't even know what I prefer when it comes to resin models anymore. Here, as an example, we haven't done a Wild West Exodus episode yet, but the early models from Outlaw, Romeo's company, were hard resin and they might break off. The newer ones from TT, or no, is it TT Combat?
War Cradle.
Or War Cradle. They're like rubbery and
Yeah.
they bend. They won't break. But then I also got a guy that was a blob. I literally got there's a character who is a big like fat guy, but there's still supposed to be some definition. I had to get another one from them. So I'm at the point now where there's so many different kinds of resin out there with models. I don't even know what I prefer. Like you'd think the rubbery ones are great because they won't break when transporting, but they're also not as good. They're not as good looking.
And for something like this that's chunky and thick, I prefer this stiffer, more brittle resin. Because the detail, that's I can see even with the naked eye, the wood grain on the bottom part of the boat that's wood.
Wow.
And it's got runes carved into it. I mean,
are you going to paint the grain too? You're going to like.
Yeah, each one.
Okay, just want to check.
Yeah, I take a little nuln on a pubic hair.
That's the way to
put it in each gap.
I believe they have those at Grognar too, right? You can't get them on the
they're
website.
Usually in the back, way in the back.
Yeah, not on the website. You got to say, Todd, do you have any more of these in back? He's like, what? Armada? No, pubes.
Let me check.
Let me check. Let me check how he's mailed.
Well, it says if the bathroom needs attention, call us, and I just say, yeah, you need to harvest.
Yeah.
By the way, whenever a game store says let us know, they really don't want you to let them know.
Except he doesn't want to know if there's a.
They don't want to know. They're trying to sell fucking Land Raiders. You tell them about a fucking turd in the toilet? They don't want to know. All right, so models are pretty great. We're liking how the impact that the races have on them. The orcs look like orc ships. The dwarves are what you'd imagine the dwarves look like. I'd like to see the other ones have that same kind of, like you said, Mike, elves have to be coming, right? You better see some more elegant looking ships, if you will. Seems like a pretty cool game. So Mike, probably most experienced, more than Biran?
I played one game. I'm an expert.
Well, and Mike actually read the rule book.
Right. I just said, Mike goes, he asked me, what do I know? I go, nothing.
Yeah, Biran, do you ever read an entire rule book ever or no?
No.
Okay.
I'll read the fluff in the toilet sometimes. That's about it.
Like, and I'm not knocking that, by the way, but like there's I flip through it. Okay, let's play. Like, we're clearly not ready to play, but I want to play anyway. So then the rules are a reference. And then
I watched Mike and Ryan play, and I'm like, okay, because I play Battlefleet Gothic, and this isn't that different from it, in my opinion.
Yeah, some similarities. What's the other one they have? Aeronautica?
Oh yeah, that's hex based, I believe, though.
Oh, it is? Okay. No, I thought it was measuring.
Oh man, Todd has a friend that was playing with him, and he had a fully painted Aeronautica set, and it looked awesome.
Is that like Forge World or something, or
I think it is.
It was.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm imagining that costing $2,000.
Well, the initial box was like 180 or whatever. But
I know, but it's like you're buying fucking planes from Forge World. Like that's a lot of dough.
He had like the dwarf or the orcs and the imp guard or whatever, and they were all painted up. I'm like, that looks awesome. I'm not getting it.
Yeah. All right, Valdric, your official Zlurpee rating for Mantic Armada.
I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
It's like I said, I've really gotten into it. I've painted probably 30 ships now. So
madman.
And you're speed painting, or are you doing the usual Valdric level of detail?
Well, I mean, okay, so like this contrast paint is amazing. So the hulls are all just snakebite leather, and it's the sails. If I was because what I did with these sails too is I took my Dremel, because they come with this little axe that's printed on it, and I took the Dremel and got rid of it because I didn't want the axe symbol on it. So if I wasn't painting the sails as much, it could be.
Wait,
like how long would a dwarf ship for you take?
They had an axe in there to make it easier to paint, right?
Yeah, but that limits you. That means you get an axe, and that's it for your sail. So
Well, Mike, you're already better than everybody watching this because I guarantee you we're all playing Axe.
The Axe fleet sails again.
Axe versus Axe.
Yeah.
Where Mike's like, I've got great Axe.
Hot Axe on Axe action.
Axe on Axe. I'm not if they went to the trouble to put grooves in there, I'm not carving that off. Like on some of the Marvel Crisis Protocol, I was like, you put like logos and stuff. That's awesome. I'm not carving that off.
It's like the transfer sheets on a Land Raider. I'm like, I'm never ever using one of those.
No. Forge roll doors are nothing, for those. All right, Mike. So you gave it a 4. It's a good rating. Do you think that may increase as the lifespan goes on? I
would think so. If I'm curious to see what the Empire of Dust, how I'm definitely pre-ordering those because I like the theme of them, and then we'll see what the other races are.
JP, I'm glad you mentioned that the possibility of it going up in rating because that's what I was going to say in my score.
Okay.
So my score.
I only ask because we don't. I don't have the list of the games we've reviewed here, but we usually wait until a game has had some time before we talk about it. This one's still pretty. When did it officially come out?
November.
Yeah.
Late November, early December.
So 3 months.
Yeah.
That's like, it's so early. So I just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there because, well, 2 of us haven't even played. There's that. But also just the idea that, you don't know. It could go down. There's a lot of reasons we talked about in the past about, why games aren't as good as they once were. So I wanted just to check with you on that, Mike, because sounds like the rules are solid, but it's very early in the life cycle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Biran.
I'm also going to give it a 4 for the same reason Mike said. I love the models so far. I'm glad that they're different enough. Like the problem with Black Sails is they're all going to be high seas sailboats.
Yeah.
Whereas this gives you the variety. Even the ships for the Tomb King guys look different. They have both. They have like little sails, don't they? Have like the sloops.
Yeah, but they also have oars too. So.
Yeah, they have oars instead of like steam, so it mixes it up even further.
Isn't that kind of like with Kings of War, where the people that play Kings of Men are maybe playing historicals already?
Yeah.
And so it's almost like the same kind of thing where, okay, either you just think the models are cool and you want to play simpler rules, or you're porting over what you already have, right?
Like I could see people like, I like this game, but I don't like all the weird fantasy shit. Like they'd only play with the more historically accurate ships. Yeah. Get that dwarf shit out of here.
Yeah, it's like that. Why? There's a reason why everyone likes fantasy, everything. Like movies and books, everything.
But if they release like a whole bunch of more ships for the existing factions and then bring in some of the more interesting eclectic armies that they have out there, I could see this going up to a 4.5 or even higher.
Okay. Xtreme, you watched a video, correct?
I did.
Okay. I did not watch a video. I did watch a video of people falling down on ice recently. They thought it was frozen and it wasn't, but that's not for this game. So your video trumps my video.
But you did see the pictures I posted of our game. So you do have some experience.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
In Xtreme, you're not, do you look at Biran's pictures or are you kind of done with that group?
I don't know. I missed the pictures, I guess. I'm not
I'm not trying to call anyone out. Everyone's free with any groups they're on Facebook. I mean, think about this. You ever go through that list of how many groups you're in?
You're like, why did I join this group?
You're like, what the fuck did I
Why am I in jet advertising?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I used to work there. I wanted everyone to sign up, but then I quit. But I mean, there's groups. So totally get it. Xtreme, no judgment. The game, no judgment. That might be coming up, by the way. Saw some new models.
Yes.
But you, Xtreme, did not see Biran ships, correct?
I don't think so, no.
If I did, I glossed over it and went right to Mike's ships. Sorry.
Well, no, I just posted our game picture, so it had Mike's ships in it as well.
Okay. Because Mike's ships are colorful and they attracted the eye.
Hey, mine got primed. That's one step.
Yeah. I mean,
3 colors.
I mean, your force be called the Black Guard. We're only going to be black primed. Done.
The Depticon ready.
What's your rating for Armada?
It's not normally the kind of game I would play. I don't really like nautical games very much. This
But
one
you
is-
actually had one that you selected in our quick hits.
That's a board game.
Right. But he said nautical game.
You did.
Well, you're trying not to be nautical in that game, though.
You're trying to be the opposite of nautical.
You know, I try to interrupt after somebody gives the rating. I don't want to skew it. Biran is the guy, like if you get like where you have to vote at, he's the one that's like 50 feet away or whatever he's got to be, just enough to yell something about your candidate and how shitty they are. Like I do it after they come out. I say nice sticker or something friendly. Okay, before anyone could influence Xtreme, what is your rating?
So not normally a game that I would see myself playing, but the mechanics are simple enough that I like that, and the dice management is very cool. And I do like some of the ships. So I'm going to rate it much higher than I thought I would. I'm going to give it a 4.
Oh,
That's very high for you, especially
It
without,
is.
without even playing.
I
mean,
predicted a 3.
It's made me interested in a game that I, on the surface, would have said there's no chance I'm ever going to play this game. Where now, like after talking about it, watching a couple of videos, I could see, hey, a fleet's not that expensive. Maybe I get one and it sits on a shelf.
Or we're at XCon and Mike says, here's a fleet, let's play.
Yeah. I saw something before we get into mine. This is just a general question for the team. There was a Mantic post. I think it was on, I don't know if it was on the solo rules post or maybe the one before. And everyone in the comments kept saying ARG. Is that like, are we doing like,
Is that their WA?
are we doing pirate talk when we play this? Is that
No.
We do the head-on chant. That's the only thing we got to do.
You don't say like, hey Ryan, are you free this Thursday night?
A vast matey.
You don't say any of that. I just want to check. Okay.
No.
I wanted to check the role play aspect. I'm going to give it a 3. Haven't played. I'm not itching to play either. But I also have not been scorned by this game in any way. There's been nothing. I was like, I'm like, 3 is the neutral score. If I played it once and I didn't like it, I'd have no problem giving it a 2 or 2.5. But from what I've seen, there's no way. I don't mean to dock the score, if you will, but it would affect it because you have a 4-4-4 and you have a 3. So it's not going to be a 4,
No.
right, Biran?
It's a 3.75.
Yeah. Might just be timing. Haven't played.
Is this possibly our lowest scoring Mantic game?
Lowest score?
Xtreme? Mantic games have scored relatively high, have they not?
Xtreme, have you kept up the spreadsheet?
I think so.
Okay, I haven't checked lately.
No, we probably did have like a 3.75.
No, I guess I should caveat mine after listening to you talk there. I tend to really like games that just came out. And then as things start coming
Oh,
out
the
more
new
and more-
shiny, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
like,
I'm the exact opposite. I
When
always get into things later on because I always just blow it off when it comes out.
You always have to
I
unfuck
like-
yourself.
Yeah.
I like the manageable aspect of there's only so many things to learn. And
Like
then
the
when they
early
start
Crisis
getting more and
Protocol.
more- Yeah. When
I get you.
Crisis Protocol first came out, I was all about it, but then I was like, oh man, there's like 45 more heroes coming out.
It's insane.
Well, I mean, to be fair, did you literally expect it to end with the Avengers? And I mean,
I didn't, but it's just that excitement level every time. Every time I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I like this game. And I know everything. So I get into this game and very quickly realize it's going to grow beyond what I'm
Are
interested
you
in.
against learning?
I don't know.
I
I know
am.
that I have a certain amount of time that I'm willing to attach to any game, and I don't want to be like on the toilet reading about a game.
You don't want to be or do want to be?
I don't want to be.
What do you want to be
I
doing
have
on the
to-
toilet instead?
No,
Instagram action figure pictures.
Hey, look, Biran posted another anime girl bending over. And it's like, okay, like,
I guess heart.
hard. No, I don't like the idea of wanting a cap early on anything. I want more rules, more models, more everything, because that means support later on. So I generally will wait a little bit. And is that why you were asking about the base? And I'm just asking, you were asking about the basic rules. Is that because you were trying to already like make a finite thing in your head about this game?
Yeah, that's how I work. And you're right. Like, I just want the game to grow because that's going to show us more successful, and there's going to be more people playing it. But then I want to just play with like a smaller pool.
Is it because you know that if you really get into a game, you get in balls deep?
Yeah, but then so because of this conflict that I have going on, it means that I just never play
anymore. Right. Yeah. There's too much battle. As maybe the angel and devil on the shoulders, they're fighting so much that you never actually get to play.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think that like with Blood Bowl, you liked it when it was like the competition was shit.
No, with Blood Bowl, so it wasn't the competition. It was that all the rules were in place. We had 24 teams. That's all I needed to learn. I'm ready to go. Let's play this game forever. They weren't releasing, 25th teams coming up next month. After that, 2016.
Would you say, so when like Corn Demons came out, you were like, I think I'm out?
No, I just didn't acknowledge it.
That was for religious reasons, though.
Sorry, Corn Demons.
It's like us with Kings of War. I stopped liking it when there was no chance I was going to ever beat anyone ever again.
So I tend to agree with that, but I usually phrase it to not make me sound as shitty. Usually the way I phrase it is, I stop playing when it's not fun anymore. We're saying the same thing, that we're losing more games than we're used to. We're saying the same things because it's just not fun anymore, guys. I'm not having fun. When the Elohai fly back, turn around, kill everybody, and it's like, wow, that was quick. I guess my game's over. Or you plop a giant bird and everyone fucking dies. That's not fun anymore. No birds in this one yet, right?
Yeah.
But we saw dirigibles, so.
All right. So there you have it. If you would like to weigh in on this conversation, if you've played or want to play, jump in there. Big thank you to everyone who comments. We got a lot of regulars that will watch, and sometimes they appreciate what we say. Sometimes they say, you know what? I'm glad you did it, but I think this way. That's all good. We appreciate it.
And I know at least one of our fans likes to just listen while they do painting and hobbying, and we appreciate that too.
Like a soundtrack in the background?
Yep.
Think anyone's fucking to this?
I am.
Okay.
Now.
Right as we speak.
Right now. That's what that cat was.
Here's the other hand.
Bandage.
Follow Zlurpcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Zlurpcast. Pretty easy, right? If you're not in Zlurp Nation, you should be. There's a sign up link in the description. We sent out a video that if you got it, you know what it is. If you didn't get it, you don't know. It's like you don't know what you don't know. You don't even know what you missed out on. You missed out on the old stuff. Imagine seeing a band you used to like and you stopped wanting to see them because they won't play their old stuff. We just played the old stuff and you missed the concert. So don't miss the next one. Sign up to Zlurp Nation so you get all those. Kilowog once said of Both Down, release the episodes. And I was like, no, fuck you, pay me, as they say in Goodfellas. We'll release what we want to release when we feel like it. How about that? For now, we've got 40 or so of these in the can. So we got not in the can, like there. There's 0 in the can. So coming up, another possible bullshit. I don't know. A lot of games we want to cover. We've talked about Space Hulk. We talked about Judgment. Is that out yet, the new one, or no?
No, they're doing a Kickstarter starting in March.
Okay.
I saw that picture of that model. Looked pretty rad.
Which one? Brock?
I think.
I was the like a giant, but scaled down, right?
The
little giant.
The two-headed one?
Yeah, the Etten, right?
Yeah. I'm impressed with how toned down they are. Because some of that creature caster stuff, there's spikes and stuff everywhere, and these have been manageable, so I like it.
Maybe we'll look into a guest that episode. Maybe Spencer.
That'd be good, yeah.
Just a thought, because I don't know if you fellas are going to dive right back into that again or not.
Oh,
I don't think Biran will.
No, I'm not smart enough for that game.
Well, the grid will help tremendously, but
oh wait, it's grid based.
I'm into it before.
It's grid, not measuring, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be hex based. So
I'm in.
Yeah.
Imagine if you.
I know I will. I know I will. I'm just gonna say, oh shit,
Imagine if you bought and painted all the big models and you had them all.
Well, I have
all. Your wife paint them for you, but you still get the painting award.
Who did that, Mike?
No. But Spencer had painted most of his models, and
he's still ready.
But he actually likes painting though too, so it's okay.
Yeah, well, but you still want to use them.
And this is the good Spencer.
Sure, to clarify. So yeah, that might be a game we cover, but that's kind of what we do. You know this drill already. So if you've watched this far, you get it. So make sure to like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy. If you
tell a Kilowoggy.
Tell a Kilowog. Tell someone who hates these kind of games. Tell them to put it on, hit play, and mute it, and see where it goes.
Tell a Mantic friend who says, "Hey, these guys actually didn't rag on Mantic that much in this episode."
Yeah.
I stand by everything in those Mantic episodes. I think you guys do too. I don't think we were as brutal as some think. If a model's not that good in 2021, when we've seen how good models can look, it's okay to say that. But the games are great. So,
yes, sir.
All right, that's it. Let's say our byes. Like.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by McMurdy's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loathing it.